welcome back to Face It with Dr. G. I'm Dr. G, and I'm so honored to have the pleasure to sit next to Kailey Wu today. We're doing something a little bit different. For those of you watching, we're just, like I said, we're shooting from the hip. We're just going to see how this goes. But I wanted you guys to meet her, hear a little bit about her journey at G-Face. I get a lot of questions about how I do it all, how I run a business, how I'm an injector, how I'm a physician, how I run all these companies. How do I do it? And it takes rock stars, and I want you to hear her story, how she started with G-Face, and then I'm going to ask her some really hard questions, but hopefully you guys can take away some tips and tricks and how you can maybe improve your company that you're running or get over some hurdles that you're experiencing before starting your company. So welcome, Kailey.
Thank you for having me.
We're so excited. Give a little introduction of who you are and your background.
So my name's Kailey. I'm a senior at UMass Amherst, and I'm also on the UMass dance team. I work here at G-Face. I work here remotely during the school year, and then I work here full-time in the summer.
She doesn't give herself any credit, so I'm going to expand on that. So how did we meet?
So we met through Wellesley Facebook babysitting page. And I started out as her babysitter my freshman year of college when I decided during winter break before I was going back to school that I wanted a little extra money, wanted to babysit a little bit, and then we met there.
And I remember that day that this woman, now woman, I can say, walked into my house and was sitting with my two kids at the time, I think.
Yes.
And
because you were pregnant.
Yes, that was special. Sitting at the table, and I could tell she was just so smart and so driven, and the way she presented herself, let alone young in college. You were a freshman.
Yeah, I was 18.
She was 18, and the most professionally cheerful, polite, warm, all around amazing woman that walked into my house. And I said, do you want a side job? Do you want to do something for work? I think I actually asked you what you majored in.
Yes.
And you said?
Marketing.
Yeah. And I said, what does that mean? Because that's just such a huge, it's a basket term for so many different things. And then I kind of got into what she wanted to do. But then what happened?
Yeah, so I babysat for, I think it was like the second time I came to babysit was when you asked me.
I actually wanted to hire her the first time, but I gave her
the second time. But we decided for me to be the first intern, and I came into the office that winter break, I think in January, and I came and visited the office. It was so much smaller than it is now. And I came, took a look at everything, and we started out with Sawyer. So I was mainly an intern for Sawyer, helping out with like marketing, advertising, creating new graphics, that sort of thing.
Yeah, so Sawyer is my skincare line, Sawyer Skin, and she really got into learning the ins and outs of Canva, which is kind of a go-to for all sorts of advertising creation. And you're right, so running the Instagram for the skincare line. And then, this is the purpose of this podcast, is to just show you guys that things don't happen overnight and how she's now kind of matriculated into an enormous role. But over time, she worked from school and she put in extra hours, still absolutely acing her classes, but doing Canva, all the content creation, Instagram, mass email creation.
Yeah, that's what I definitely started out with, mass email creation, creating graphics, running the Sawyer Instagram at first. And then that summer, when I was going into my sophomore year at UMass, I worked part-time here in person. And then last summer was when I first started working full-time in the summer. So last summer and this summer is when I'm working full-time in the office in person. And I think last summer was when I started really getting into more managerial position.
Yeah. So she now, fast forward, and we'll go back a little bit, she runs this whole office. So she's the chief operating officer. She does everything from payroll, which she did for me when she was studying abroad in Spain. And she does payroll, she runs office operations, she controls scheduling, and now with opening a new office on Cape Cod, she does all of that coordination, and also does the advertising, the marketing, will essentially do anything and everything. And I think my point to bring her here is that, number one, it has to be someone who has the work ethic and the drive. And number two, it has to be someone that well, with that being said too, is a go-getter that isn't afraid to try new things. She'll just figure it out. You know, she'll say, people will ask me, how do I do something? I'll say, or ask me if I know something, I'll say, well, I'm on the same level as you right now. So we both know the same amount of information. Can you go help me and figure it out and then come back to me? Versus me trying to micromanage and doing it all like I used to do. Now I delegate. And she's really been a master coordinator of all of that. What's been like your biggest hurdle, I guess, or your biggest struggle?
My biggest struggle. Honestly, I feel like maybe even like last year, like starting the managerial stuff, because we really didn't have like payroll, for example. We really didn't have like a set system where I was like, here's a set schedule. This is exactly what you're going to do. You're going to do this, this, and this. We both were figuring stuff from like the ground up.
Mm-hmm.
And like our payroll, like third party system, and even some of the managerial stuff now, like you're opening your second office and everything is like new for the both of us.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really starting from the ground up. It's not like we're given a list of things to do and a list of criteria and a list of requirements. Like we have to make it as we go.
Right. And I think that's why it's a team effort that helps us do all of it. And we use a program called Rippling for those of you that are business owners. It's an HR platform that's out of California and a startup that we've had to work with because they're growing as well. But it is everything from onboarding, which has really helped Kailey. With that, you create different templates of forms for onboarding and contracts and agreements, and then you customize them. But for every change in our office, it's now not just verbal, it's written and they sign off on it and it's in their chart in Rippling. So it really helps keep everything organized, and all of the demographics of all of the team members as well. So that's been really helpful.
Yeah, and I feel like even though it has been a hurdle at first, I feel like that's what makes it fun too.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm really getting to learn all different aspects. I started as like marketing and like graphic design, like kind of like content creation with Sawyer, and now I've have a ton of experience with even like event planning with like the HR side of a business and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
So she does it all, you guys. And I encourage you, if you're looking to add someone like Kailey, I mean, I am so blessed and lucky to have everyone on my team. And I remember when I hired you as an intern, I said, oh my gosh, I have to wait 4 years for her to be here. But she has worked day in and day out from college and from the other side of the world. And it's just so amazing. So talk to your babysitters. Maybe that's the biggest takeaway. Talk to your babysitters and see if they have a purpose that they want to pursue now. And also don't micromanage. I found that micromanaging is a silent killer of sorts, because it not only are you then stressed about doing everything yourself, but you don't empower your team members to figure it out themselves and grow. The other thing we've developed, and then we can cut this off, is the mentorship program, which goes along with that micromanagement aspect, that now I don't directly train my new injectors and my new team members. We almost have a mentorship program, a buddy system, where there's a tier and everybody trains each other, which you helped develop.
Yeah. It's even like not even just for like medical providers too, but when we have new hires in the advertising and marketing realm, it's like me working with them directly too, or you working with them too. It's not just you having to manage every single one and help every single one all the time.
Yeah, and it's now people come to me with questions, and I usually don't even know the answer at this point, but if I do, I'll say, well, go and ask so-and-so, and if they don't know, go and ask so-and-so. And then if they don't know the answer, then that's a reason for them to go and research it and figure it out. It's all a learning experience. And what I found is by empowering people to teach other team members, you feel so much more fulfilled. You feel like you have a purpose. You learn yourself, and it just creates such a beautiful environment. So I give Kailey all of the credit for helping me develop everything we have now. It's just the beginning, even though it's come so far.
Definitely.
And we're so excited. So I hope you learned something. I'm so happy to have her. I think we're going to do this with our team members sporadically. I want you guys to learn from our process, meet them, obviously, either if you're watching YouTube or listening, and maybe learn something that you can help integrate into your practice. So
for sure.
Thanks for watching. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Like, subscribe, share. I love all of the engagement. I love all the questions and comments, and I can't wait to see you guys next time.